Have you ever looked at someone you trust and suddenly felt like you never really knew them at all? Not because they lied to you, because everything you knew about them might have been carefully built. This is the story of Ethan Walker. Ethan was the kind of person people remembered. Not loud, not flashy, but strangely magnetic. He had this rare ability to make people feel seen. When he spoke to you, it felt like for that moment, you were the only person in the room. Everybody liked him. Teachers trusted him. Friends depended on him. Strangers opened up to him. But if you asked 10 people who Ethan really was, you'd get 10 different answers. That should have been the first warning. I met Ethan in college. At first, I thought we were complete opposites. I was impulsive, he was controlled. I talked too much, he listened. And somehow, that made us close. Closer than anyone else. Or at least, that's what I thought. One night, around 2 in the morning, my phone lit up. It was Ethan. "You awake?" "Yeah, what's going on?" A long pause, then, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Do you ever feel like there's nobody underneath?" I stared at the screen. "What do you mean?" "I mean, when I'm alone, I don't know who I am." At first, I thought he was exhausted, maybe stressed, maybe just trapped in one of those dark, late-night thoughts. So I called him. He answered after a few rings. For a few seconds, silence, just breathing. Then he said, "When you're alone, are you still the same person?" "More or less." He laughed quietly, not warmly. "Lucky you. I'm not." After that night, he started opening up, only to me. He told me that when he was a child, his father repeated the same sentence over and over again. People only love what is useful. So Ethan adapted. Every time he showed fear, sadness, anger, he was ignored. But every time he became calm, intelligent, easy to love, he was rewarded. So he learned to become whatever people needed. At home, obedient. At school, brilliant. With athletes, confident. With artists, sensitive. With girlfriends, attentive. He didn't fit into rooms. He transformed for them. And eventually, he became so good at pretending that even he couldn't tell which version came first. One afternoon, I finally asked him, "So who are you when nobody's around?" We were walking through downtown Boston. Cold wind, people everywhere. He kept staring ahead, then quietly said, "That's the problem. I don't think there's anyone there." A few weeks later, our friend Daniel threw a party. Loud music, crowded apartment, too many strangers. Ethan was already there when I arrived, and immediately, something felt wrong. He was louder than usual, restless, making jokes that cut too deep. He wasn't drunk, that was obvious. He was different. I pulled him aside. "What's going on with you?" He looked confused. "What do you mean? You don't feel like yourself." He smiled, that same calm smile, then said, "Maybe this is the first time I actually do." Then he leaned closer and whispered, "People don't become who they are. They become who survives." 3 days later, I got a text from him. Just 6 words. "I think I'm starting to disappear." I called immediately. No answer. Again, nothing. I drove straight to his apartment. The front door was unlocked. Inside, the apartment was dark, silent. except for a dim yellow light at the end of the hallway, his bedroom. I called his name. Nothing. I walked toward the door. My hand touched the handle, and I pushed it open. Ethan was sitting in front of the mirror, perfectly still. At first, I thought he was talking to himself. Then I realized he was having a conversation with different versions of himself. Every few seconds, everything changed. His posture, his expression, his voice. One version sounded cold, another frightened, another angry, another empty. And the terrifying part, they all felt real. Then he looked at me, slowly. "You came." His voice was calm, too calm. "Ethan, what's happening?" He tilted his head. "Which one? The Ethan you know? The Ethan my mother knows? The Ethan my professors admire? The Ethan my ex-girlfriend loved? Or the one standing here right now?" I couldn't move. My body had gone cold. He stepped closer and quietly said, "I got so good at becoming what people needed that now none of them want to leave." Then he looked directly into my eyes. And the worst part is, I don't know which one was supposed to be me. That night, I stayed with him until sunrise. The next morning, I took him to a psychologist. The diagnosis took weeks, but one sentence stayed with me forever. He didn't lose himself. He built himself out of other people. Months later, Ethan seemed better, calmer, quieter, more real. One rainy afternoon, we met at a cafe near the river. I asked him, "How are you now?" He smiled softly. "Better." Then, after a pause, "I think I finally found myself." I felt relieved. "So, everything's okay now?" He looked out at the rain for a long moment, then turned back to me. "There's just one problem." "What?" His smile deepened slightly. "I still don't know if this is really me, or just the most convincing role I've ever created." And now, let me ask you something. When nobody is watching, when there's no one to impress, no expectations, no performance, no role, who are you, really? Or have you spent so much time becoming what people wanted that one day you might wake up and realize there's no one underneath at all?